his claim and explained that, leading his armies in person, Ewa waged war in all directions and far beyond the previous bound of the state. In fact, Ewa combined military competence with remarkable statesmanship, qualities which enabled him to revive the dwindling fortune of Benin. In Benin tradition, Ewa is remembered as bequeathing basic qualities: courage, loyalty, group spirit, and sacrifices, for which the memories of victory and even endurance in adversity encouraged a full sense of participation. Similarly, Igarewa 1968, page 23, explains that Ozolwa, who ascended the throne in 1483, was a great warrior king who fought many desperate battles and waged war upon war. He delighted in waging wars. Bions still remembers him as a skilled strategist who would sometimes march against the bear, sometimes march against the enemy with every few soldiers, in order that he might feel the weight and seriousness of the fight. In fact, each time he prayed, he will always pray to his ancestors to give him war. Ozolwa fought and won 200 battles, which merited his agnomen Ozolwa ne Ibarumi, meaning Ozolwa the Conqueror. He was known for his ideas in strengthening the army, for solving exigencies, and his constant warning that not even the best plan could be trusted. In his strategic thoughts, individual tactical decisions must be made on the spot. Succession, it was reigned. Who reigned in succession maintained the military tradition of Ewa. At the end of the era, the Benin Empire after warrior kings 1606. At the end of the era, Benin has emerged as a great imperial power in the West African forest region, in all the conquered territories. Benin imposed a ignominy rather than dominance, which strategically placed Benin in a position to subject the conquered states to her sovereignty. From 1606 to 1800, European travelers and traders were awed by the glory and majesty of the Oba of Benin and his empire. The control of enormous resources, slaves, and war captives was one benefit of the entire power. In fact, the Europeans also benefited from the extensive network which developed and opened to their trade and profits. The most significant development in empire building was the vast system of administration evolved by the Benin monarchy. The most significant development in the empire building was the vast system of administration evolved in the Benin monarchy to hold the imperial structure together. However, at the hub of the empire was Benin City, where problem of political accommodation among the various grades of chiefs and the ruling classes led to conflicts and civil war. That dominated the history of warfare of the period. The consolidation of the power of Benin was a crucial factor which helped in empire building. In spite of the internal political crisis in the 17th and early 18th centuries, the demonstrated military power of Benin was able to subdue other rivaling powers, such as Oyo, which strengthened its western frontier state of Ekiti, and to suppress rebellion anywhere in the empire. During this period, the evidence suggests that Benin probably reached the limit of its capacity for further conquest. In this case, what was central to the political thoughts of the ruling class in Benin City was the building of the empire created by the frontiers, conquest of the warrior king, rather than expansion beyond the limits reached by Oba Buddha, the last of them. The interpretations of the issues arising from desires for former empire has been linked to economic motive, for which the former control of territories was seen to be considerably strategic. Rather than expansion beyond the limits reached by Osariemen, the last of them. Beautiful the interpretation of the issues arising from Benin, desire for former empire, has been linked to economic motive, for which the former control of territories was seen to be considerably strategic, value in protecting the interests of Benin. Their support is not to be taken for granted. For example, their studies shows that political and economic threats from the frontier and civil wars were insufficient to threaten Benin's dominant role in the economy and politics of the region. Within the power dynamics of the state-society relation in the Kingdom of Benin during the 17th and 18th centuries, the conflict between the Obas and the chiefs produced new political configurations in the structure of the state, which in turn significantly influenced the process of the development of the military. The first shift in power relationship was displacement of the Oba as the supreme military commander of the Benin army, leading to a decline in his personal influence and authority. The chiefs who gained in power came to overshadow the monarchy. One of the political consequences of this development was the outbreak of civil wars, the consequent devastation and the depopulation due to migration from Benin City contributed to the fluctuations in the military power. After one of the civil war in the early 18th century, the Oba began to reassert their power, but control of the army was crucial to balance power between rivalry elements within the structure of state society. Relations that has emerged, each successive Oba in the 18th century strengthened the position of existing military chiefs and created new military titles which were prized for their privilege. This strategy was adopted for the redistribution of power by the king in the 18th century. To consolidate power The power of monarchy, the complexity of monarchy in the historical development of this period was partly due to the rise in commerce. The shift in the trade from the urban dominion and probably contributed significantly for the shift in the power background. Significantly, one reason between the Oba and the chiefs on one hand. So, we'll go for the chiefs on the other hand. For background. And between the different grades of chiefs on the other, they were all involved in a power struggle which revolved around the desire to maintain control of our own struggles. The complexity for the control of political power was not based on a clear correlation with economic power. The competition for position, power, and prestige shifted emphasis to the new strategic economic resources offered by commercial relations with the Europeans. The history of the 7th and 18th centuries is the history of the heritage of Benin. As the state still possessed the power or capacity to influence other states. In fact, it was a period which witnessed fluctuations of its military power and which could have been the golden age in the history of Benin. But for the conflict, rivalry, hate, although no less importance for the state power developed for security measures and military preparedness for the state. The military system which we developed was partly the product of the internal political crisis of the period. One of the main issues one of the main issues One of the main issues we face is partly on the product of internal political crisis and the civil war. Of no less importance, the military system which developed the military system which developed the military system which developed was not just a system of one alone, but of the whole Nigeria. In spite of these circumstances and conditions, the prestige of Benin as a leading military power remained undiminished. I'll rather explain the situation in this way. The military remained the state of heterogeneous empire. Remained the stage of heterogeneous power. Heterogeneous empire only held together at the center by the ruler. For the ruler. The state remained to the end. To the end of the ruler and the watchfulness of the palace and the title holders, and by the armed might which they could muster against the rebellion or turn. Against the rebellion or turn. Therefore, installed in the exertion of Benin, we've come to know that a lot of things cannot and will never be compromised. The monarchy of Benin and anthropology of Benin Empire, edited by the royal editors. From birth to death, a Benin cultural voyage. Page 307. By Psalm chapter 22. Benin or Benin, Chief S.O.U. Ogbe. Chief S.O.U. Ogbe. Benin or Benin. The environment or social surrounding of a people habitat is to function. Is a function of the physical feature and topography of the geography of its hemisphere. It is the backbone of the culture and the frontliner that gives us the boldness and courage to stand behind. Yes, topography of the region it's good. Yet the teaching, reading, and using W is not viable. It's not viable. Today, it's not viable. Or today, in spite of the spirited avowals of our marriage to our culture and traditions, many Benin indigenes will tell their young children to say hello. To say hello to uncle instead of teaching them the Benin greeting. For the occasion, I was shocked when a 6-year-old daughter of one of my primary schoolmates told me when I went to visit them that her father, I know the house, instead of Eroa. As a result of the neglect and seeming lack of interest, diverse and irregular uses of the word Benin and Benin have become rampant. It had become necessary, therefore, to point out the correct use of the two words for the information of all those of our people who endeavor to write the Benin language and use it thereof. Write the Benin language or use its words orally. The language spoken by the people of Benin Kingdom is Benin. The word Benin is used mostly as a noun, or it is also used as an adjective to describe a related noun. E.g., the language of the Benin people is Bini. The Benin people speak the Bini language. The book is a Bini dictionary. The landmass occupied by the Benin Kingdom is Bini. The land which the kingdom occupied at the time of Obaewa was Bini, but was renamed Edo by the Oba in glorification of the lowly man, Edo, who some of us don't know, but who laid down his life for the Oba. Edo, who helped him to escape death at a critical time of need. Some of our brothers who were there then, part of the kingdom, have since gone their separate ways to what is left of the area of the land. The word Benin is what we want to talk about. But it's also used as an adjective to describe a related noun. The language of the Benin people is Benin. The Benin people speak the Benin language. The book is in a Benin dictionary. The landmass was covered by the Benin Kingdom. Is Benin. The land which is the kingdom. The land which is the kingdom. The chair. Time of Oba Ewai was Benin, but was renamed Edo by Oba. But what is left of the area of the land now constitutes the South Senatorial District of Edo State, which remains in the Benin Kingdom. Words. Benin is used not only in the land which the kingdom occupies, but also the people. But also the people who occupies the land. The Benin Kingdom as of today is made up of 7 local government areas in the state of Nigeria. The Kingdom of Zamalia. The Benin language has 7 words in it. Kotsi, I, O, U, and O are symbols represented in the Benin Old Book as the current 33 alphabets in use in the Benin language are B, E, A, F, G, B, B, He, K, B, B, Ni, O, P, V, C, T, O, V, Z. V is sometimes written in place of re because they are pronounced the same way. And the following phonetic symbol, which are at least not in use, is language signature. It needs to be brought to the notice of our people. Account number. We to know the bottom line. We O we or we an z ki ov o e We now need to take a look at the language and get our Benin language authority and decided what to include in the language. Herewith are some examples of words from each of the alphabets, as in ago, ebibi, edede, ebe, ege, efe, egogo, igbon, iyo, eho, iwi, ekita, ukpo, oha, lare, imose, uwe, owana, iyan, ọ̀wọ́n, ọ̀dẹ̀, òdẹ, ọ̀tàn, ọ̀tàn, ọ̀píà, ìrò, ọ̀ọ̀, asán, ọ̀tà, ùtún, àvàn, ìvíósà, ùwà, ìyá, ọ̀zùọ̀. The following diphthong also occur in the Benin language. Ear, ear, I, io, u, wa, we, ue, uo, ei, I. And they are nasalized ones like ian, ie, ion, wa, we, ion, ai, oi. Following are illustrators. Ian as in ekia, ie as in ivie, ie as in owie, ion as in isiokwo, ion as in obiokoko, wa as in awa, we as in iswe, we as in swe, uo as in okwo, uo as in okwoka, as in owe, oi as in omogigiade. Nasal illustration. Ian as in vien, ien as in ovie, ion as in onion, one as in moi, ue as in mue, one as in ovone, awe as in omae, oe as in ovoe. The reason why our brothers and sisters away from home cannot teach their children to speak their language is difficult to understand. The only excuse one can listen to is that they see very little of their children because they go their separate way every morning, and by the time they get back home, it is near bedtime. This excuse cannot be reasonable for those of us who are at home in Benin. While our authorities try to find tangible solutions to this problem, let us try and also teach our children basic word of the language for a start. Some parts of the body are gbogbe, egbe, ẹ̀yìn, ẹ̀wẹ̀, òbọ̀, ìkèbè, ẹ̀kọ, ìpíranpọ̀, ìpíranwẹ̀, aranwẹ̀, ukùn, ìyèkè, àtàtàbọ̀, ìfíẹ̀kwe, akàn, ètò, ugboloko, àtàtàwẹ̀, àrò, unu, ẹ̀hó, ìwẹ̀, onísàn, ìgbọ̀n, ìró, ìyẹn, ẹ̀tú, ìkwé, esagie. Some part of your house, ukoni, egedege, egodo, ọlẹ́la, ibare, ọgwai, ukwo, ẹkù, ugaomo, ugwaga, igigi. Some household utensils, owe, ukpu, ikorogba, ekpo, irae, usana, ugegbe, ukpa, ogo, okpia, ukeke, emila, oko, ewe, ipatako, aga, uyiya, ẹ̀rọ, uwo, ure, urupa, ẹ̀wà, aga, àgbẹ̀, àtìtà, èmi òwò, ọ̀ràn, èkìtà, èpẹ́pẹ́yẹ, èmi ukoni, àmì, ureu, ẹ̀rọ, odo, ìràe, usana, ekuye, uwe, ofigbon. General items. Aranwe, uwaiso, ugu, asese, idu, okoko, omeran, iwebo, kokodia, onwebo, alimo, uwuro, ọ̀gẹ̀dẹ̀, ẹbí, ìsàwẹ̀, oòrùn, àràmẹ̀, ẹ̀sì, ètẹ́kẹ́tẹ́kẹ́, ẹ̀rẹ̀, ọ̀fíọ̀tọ̀, òfin, ẹlẹ́dẹ̀, òsípàlọ̀, ìmọ̀ ègbè, ẹ̀rù, ìbàtà, ẹ̀wù, ùtálówẹ̀, ùgbó, ìyàn, ọ̀gẹ̀dẹ̀, ìgàì, ìyóhò, ẹ̀yìn, ìkíàvò. Chapter 23. Mystery and message of Mount Anugbode. Preamble. Okene Anugbode means Mount Anugbode in English. It is a hallowed mount and source of record and control of world destiny. Oboro is a diviner, medium, metaphysician, exorcist, mystic, interpreter, and messengers of the God in Roman or Greek sense. He is the facilitator of communication between dwellers of different worlds and universe. The flow of information goes through his person. Obaro, as messenger, also bear messages to and from outside, from ancestors, between ancestors, and between man and woman, and the individual spirit and destiny. He is trained by Ebo, among other any incomprehensible event, concept, or language. The supernatural or paranormal, any incomprehensible event, concept, or language, including that spoken or here, that include primordial ancestors of mankind and aliens, extraterrestrial beings. He is a spiritual guide, healer, and trainer. He guides both the living and the dead. The roles of the Obaro necessarily include shaping destiny. Thus, Obaro is not an average human being. Some see him as a spirit in human form. Obaro is not a spirit as such. Dwellers of the transcendental world of Mount Anugbode include Iye, Olua, Ogene, Osa, Eiri, Oke, Okene Anugbode, Ebo, Osa, Ogenosa is the glorious